Opinions and stories around the game we love, told by your favorite storytellers. Stay up to date with all things cricket. Subscribe to Cricbuzz's YouTube channel and press that bell icon now. Sri Lanka were 58 for 5 in the 9th over. They'd lost some very good batters, and yet what you're saying, the approach was and the idea was to score big. Of course, they took risks.
That 10 versus 6.6. Just look 11th to 15th over.
Yeah.
That's the story of the match. And remember, these guys have still lost just 2 wickets. You've basically set a foundation out there. These people have lost 5 wickets by that stage. And they're still scoring at a run rate of 10. That is a fundamental difference between the two teams. Leave the last one aside, because by that time, there's so much pressure, the wickets have started tumbling.
Yeah.
But that 10 versus 6.6, even if you assume that, okay, you've just stabilized a bit, at that point, if you don't take off, at the 10th over mark, they just had to take off. Somebody had to do some strong talking and say, if we don't take risks now, this is just going to become too much for the rest. And that's exactly what happened.
And also the class of Rajapaksa.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think he's played the innings of the tournament. But can we look back? I know there was a couple of good innings from Cricbuzz at the start. Rohit played a very good innings. Nawaz played a very good innings. But Kusal Mendes and
Couple of
Pathum Nissanka played decent innings. But in a final, batting first to score 70 of 45 balls
Incredible.
was probably the innings. And that, again, that was the difference. But you had a player there who was capable of playing like that. But don't forget what Hasaranga did.
Yeah.
71 of 45. Look at the strike rate there. But don't forget what Hasaranga did in that situation. Took the pressure off. In his first 8 or 9 balls, he was 18, 19 runs. So he straight away took the pressure off. So that is the only way you can win. How can you win from 58 for 5? If you say from 58 for 5, next 4 overs, okay, doesn't matter, I'll make 20.
Yeah.
Right? You're now 80 for 5 with 6-7 overs left. You can't win the game from there.
Yeah.
So the only way you can win is keep going and say, if I come off, I win.
And that's something that Sri Lanka did, and they've kept doing that throughout this Asia Cup, Joy. And you've got to celebrate this journey of theirs, because even in the final, with the bat, they were 58 for 5, came back to put on the board 170. With the ball, not a single ball was bowled, and they'd already conceded 9 runs, given them a head start. To keep fighting back, this team has a lot of spirit.
And it's very interesting. If you follow Sri Lankan media for a while, their women's netball team has just become Asian champions. And it's a huge thing for them. And you'd think netball is not that big a game. It's like a national celebration. They're really happy because, remember, it's a country going through a lot of strife, a lot of problems. So the kind of way this lifting the spirit, and when you're in a situation like that, the team, every situation gets magnified. Defeats get magnified, wins get magnified. So the kind of impact this will have on it, and the way the winning, be the way they won, the way they fielded, the way they supported each other, the way they came back from that really disastrous first match.
Yeah.
That was a disastrous first match. Everyone was saying these guys are not even going to make the top 4.
Yeah.
And they go on to win the championship.
That is true. This is their 6th Asia Cup title, Harsha, and perhaps their most improbable. This is a team that's not going to start as an automatic qualified team in the T20 World Cup. They'll play round 1.
They should sweep stage 1, but you're right, they still have to play stage 1. And what that tells you is, over the last 12 months, they haven't been a great side. But there's something about this side that's coming together now. I think the return of Chamira will make that side even stronger, though young Madhushan comes into his first tournament. He's had 2 fabulous games.
Amazing.
But in that side, suppose you say, okay, close your eyes and say, yeah, Sri Lanka won. Who won it for Sri Lanka? Mendes had a good game. Nissanka had a good game. Rajapaksa had a good game. Hasaranga has had many good games. Thikshan has had good games. Madhushan has had a good game. Madhushanka has had a good game.
Dhanuka has finished.
Sorry?
He's finished for them.
Yeah.
So
Dasun Shanaka, the captain.
Dasun Shanaka has had many good games for them. So if you look down that, there have been a lot of players who've had good games for them.
Yeah.
The other day, Dhananjay De Silva came in and bowled good overs.
Those two, yeah.
So everybody, you look at a game, everybody has played a part in them winning a game of cricket, which is always a good sign.
Yeah. And especially we speak of the balance so much, Joy. This side has it's a fantastic balance. So many of them bat, they've always got more than 5 bowling options.
So that's the interesting thing. And I was just thinking about it, Harsha. It's worth looking at that when you see teams play test cricket or one-day international cricket and you look at the averages, stats for a tournament, your ideal stats will be your top 3 or 4 batsmen get a lot of runs. My sense is that because of the vagaries of our T20 cricket and everyone needs to start going early, I think you'll find Sri Lanka is one because they've got more players bunched in the middle, where more players have done more and not one player. Like for India, Virat Kohli's got 270 odd runs. This one, Rizwan would have got 280, 290 odd runs. So one player has gone big, and that has not necessarily won teams more. Teams seem to win when 3-4 guys have got 150, 140, 110, 120. And I think that is something you'll see. You take a look at that. Their top scorer is 191, Rajapakse. The Nisanka's got 173. Kushal Mendis got 150 odd. There are 2 other players who are more than 100, I think. And that's, I think, the template now for winning T20 tournaments. And I think you're going to see that exactly. I go back to Harsha's point. How many orange cap winners have won? Have actually won the IPL. In fact, the only one that happened was 2014, Robin Uthappa. It's never happened otherwise.
Wow. And that's really
the one person who could have was Warner in 16 when he scored 800 runs. Most years that would have won him the orange cap. But Virat had a season that will never come again.
And even with the ball, Harsha, I mean, there's so many. I think there are 3 Pakistan bowlers there in that top wicket takers list. Look at that. Vanindu Asaranga is the only Sri Lankan. There's Nawaz, there's Shadab, there's Haris Rauf. And that again tells you a story.
Didn't our producer give us this stat before the game started that Sri Lanka's fast bowlers have taken more wickets than Pakistan's fast bowlers?
Yes.
And that's an incredible stat because you don't have a Naseem or an Haris Rauf or a Hasnain there, but quietly they're going about their job.